Hi everybody, and welcome to another episode here at Light Hill Academy, where we share our experience so you can become better storytellers. So today we're going to be talking about shot framing and composition. Now I know what you're thinking, Josh, there's so many things to learn about in videography. Check out this link. Now we're talking about shot framing and composition. Guys, it's very creative, it's exciting, and we have your back. We're going to tell you about 3 shots that you need to know about that form the foundation of all the other shots in your promo, in your short film, in your event that you're covering as a videographer, as a cinematographer, or as a photographer. So guys, stick around, take it away. Guys, now when it comes to shot framing, image framing, or camera framing, it all actually means the same thing. It's all about the placement and position of people and things within the image frame in relation to the camera, because ultimately the camera captures that information into an image, into shots and footage that you can use, that you can edit. Secondly, guys, when it comes to shot framing, it's not just about running out and shooting everything that comes to mind in anything that is in front of you. It's about composing the shot. So I'm putting a fair amount of forethought and thinking into the shots before I go ahead and shoot it and capture it. Now, guys, when it comes to cinematographers, videographers, and photographers, we are all concerned, and you should be too when you're starting out this journey, about the relationship that people and things have to one another within a shot. Why? Because that conveys information. That information has an emotional effect on your audience, and that emotion has a psychological effect on your audience. Now, if you do it really well, and you go to the movies and people see this great film that you've made, or this great promo that you've shot, or this great event that you've covered, it all seems very seamless. And the information and emotional responses and psychological effect on your audience comes very naturally. When you don't do it well, you leave audiences confused on what was it that you really were trying to say. It's sometimes very jarring, and it doesn't make for a pleasant viewing experience. And that's what we want. We want to make the viewing experience for the audience seamless. How can I put it? Involved and immersive in this world, in this journey that we're taking them on. Now, when it comes to shot framing, there are 3 things you need to consider. You need to consider placement. Where am I placing my subject or my object within the frame? If I make it really small and to the distance, that conveys a certain information. If I make it really big, the object or the person really big, that conveys certain information. Look at this shot of this cowboy in this canyon. Now he's on the edge of the cliff, he's sitting on his horse, he's looking out over the canyon, and we sort of get this idea of this majestic view. We're taking this whole environment in with the cowboy. Now guys, that happens because the focus of that scene is the environment, and by making the cowboy on the horse very small, that's the information that we are conveying, the emotion that the audience gets, and the psychological effect that it has on it. Versus this shot of this high angle shot of this building. This building is very prominent in the shot, and these shots are sometimes follow as shots to an interview or somebody going into the building, especially when it comes to big corporates, because this building is big, so it conveys a sense of bigness, being overwhelmed. Those of you who've seen the first Fantastic Four movie, you've got that big statue of Dr. Doom right in front of his science lab. And Reed Richards is asked by the torch, or I think what effect that does have on you? And he said, it makes me really feel small and insignificant. That is what the right shot, that is what the right composition can do for you. Now guys, when it comes to shots are broken down into 3 broad categories, and you get 9 different types of shots. But don't worry, any scene can be broken down into 3 basic shots: a long shot, a medium shot, and a close-up shot. Now, when you look at your different shots, guys, it falls into three broad categories, like I've said. You get wide shots, of which the long shot is one. You get medium shots, of which the medium shot is one. And you get close-ups, of which the close-ups is one. Now, we're not going to delve into the other shots. We're going to be talking about the foundational shots that you need to focus on when you're starting this journey in videography, photography, even cinematography. Now, it is the long shot or full shot, it is the medium shot, and it is the close-up. When it comes to the long shot, that's the first one we're going to be looking at. It is your subject in relation to the environment. So, take this photo out of the movie Django, where Django is about to confront the slave driver that has his wife. Now, we place Django in the middle of the scene, which means the focus is on him. He's standing, which means he's confident, he's prominent in the environment. Now, the way that they set him up in the environment is fantastic. That you've got those big willows behind him, and it's sort of almost like a curtain. Now, I'm no film critic, and looking at this now, I would say it creates the sense of something is about to be revealed. Now, when you're watching a film, all of those things are not going through your head. You react to this instinctively, naturally. Now, when it comes to framing a long shot, we're looking at the head to the toe, and yet again, your subject in relation to your environment. It could be as simple as somebody just grabbing a taxi, and that taxi being in the busy city. That conveys information. Is he a lawyer? Is he on his way somewhere? And we understand it's the busyness of the city. This guy's probably a yuppie, or is somebody that lives or has come to the city. We get that whole vibe from it. And depends on where you're doing. Low angle, high angle, how you frame that shot with movement all adds information to that shot, even as basic as getting a guy into a taxi cab or capturing a guy getting into a taxi cab. The second shot is the medium shot. Now, when it comes to framing the medium shot, we're talking about the navel and the head. Now, the first thing about a medium shot that you can pick up is the natural eye level. The shot looks very natural. It creates a natural connection with the audience. Now, the medium shot is also known as the natural shot, or it's also known as the standard shot. It's the reason why it's known as that shot is when you're setting up for a scene, that's almost naturally the first shot that you're looking to shoot with a subject in that scene. Now, guys, as well, when it comes to this shot is all about posture and action within the scene. We're also zooming in more to the environment. It's not as big as a long shot. And yet again, I'm going to reiterate this. This is all about your posture and your action within that shot. Why is that important? Because your upper body conveys a lot of, gives a lot of cues when it comes to body language. Am I sad? Am I happy? Do I feel confident? My upper body changes. Its posture changes, and that conveys information. Also, there's action to be had. When you're looking at an action scene and they're filming a fight scene, it normally goes from an establishing shot, goes to a long shot, and then it goes into a medium shot. And you see all the hand movements and the karate movements because it's giving you the postures and the different angles and shots and actions that the person is taking. So it's getting into the action of the upper body, of the characters, of the objects. It's getting in close. So guys, next up is the close-up. The close-up is all about emotion on my face. Am I intense, stoic look? Am I happy? Am I a little bit sad because a little bunny rabbit is not having food? All of those things. I don't know why I did the bunny rabbit thing. It just popped into my head. But as you can see, when you go and you do a close-up, it's all about the face. Now, we're on a medium shot here with you. So it's different to see the expression on my face. But when you do a close-up, you really get into the emotion of the face. You really get into the reactions of the face. Take a dialogue scene between a couple. You have the guy talking, and he's talking about things, and then you can do a reaction shot of the woman sitting opposite him and her reactions to what he is saying. Now go look at dialogue scene within films and see what's the emotion, what's the reaction shots, and it's normally to convey the relationship and the relation between the parties in those shots. Guys, we haven't really talked about objects, but it is the same thing. When you're looking at a car or a horse or anything that's an object or an animal, that's a long shot, it is the same thing. A racing car, when you see the full racing car in a long shot on a racetrack, you know what that is about. Now, let's just move to a few meters away and you see a Mercedes parked at an office space, also at a racetrack, and it's also a long shot. That is something very different. It conveys, yet again, it gives you information about the subject in the environment, or in this case, the object in the environment. When you're doing close-ups onto an object, now it's about revealing more detail. Maybe there's a crack. Maybe when you're looking at a sword, in this fight, and camera goes really close up to the sword. You see the light gleaming off of it. You see how sharp and how shiny it is. It gives you the sense of the sword is really well kept, and then the action goes and the cleaning and everything starts. Yet again, conveys information, has an emotional and psychological effect on the audience. Guys, I'm going to leave you with that. The takeaway here is that these three shots, the long shot, the medium shot, and the close-up shots, really form the basis of any scene. Sometimes when I have no inspiration for a scene, I will just break it down just to get started on the scene into an establishing shot, a long shot, a medium shot, and a close-up. Once I've done that, I go and say, okay, how can I make this close-up more interesting? How can I make this medium shot more interesting? And not just interesting, what information do I want to convey? Now, I've picked these shots. Is it at the right angle? Is the subject placed in the right side? Then I go break down those shots. And before I get it, I've got my whole scene covered in 3 shots. That's not even counting sometimes other interesting shots or movement that I want to place into the scene, because like I said, that's really the backbone, the foundation of any scene. When it comes to photography, when it comes to cinematography, it is the same thing. Breaking down your image into a close-up, into a medium, or into a long shot, and what information, emotion, and psychological effect that you want. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, like always, leave a like, subscribe to our channel, and share this on your social media platforms. Go a step further and pay it forward, and allow other people also to become great storytellers and learn more about the storytelling process. I'd also like you to leave a comment. What is your favorite shot, camera movement, camera angle in a movie that you've liked and that you maybe from time to time reflect on? Guys, if you'd like to learn more about different angles, shots, setups, storytelling, motion graphics, photography, storytelling, I'd like to give you an invitation to come join us at Light Hill Academy. It's our internship program where we take the best of both worlds, filmmaking and learning the theory of filmmaking, and applying that in the practical world with real life projects that will leave you with actual work experience that you can take into your career as you start this amazing life in videography, cinematography, movie making, promo, shooting, etc., etc., etc. Guys, I'm going to leave you with my quote of the day. It comes from Joseph Campbell, who said, "The cave that you fear to go into holds the treasure."